Well, New Comic Book Day is right around the corner, so let's take a look at the books on my pull list. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and this is the pull list. It's my weekly video series where I take a look at the books coming out. This time we're looking at Wednesday, September 4th, 2024. I'm going to tell you which books are on my pull list, what's on the chopping block, and which books, new number ones, are on my radar for this new week of comic book releases. Man, we had a lot of technical difficulties, which is why I'm coming to you with this handheld mic instead of recording it straight into the computer. But it is what it is. The show must go on. So I'm going to be telling you about all the books that I'm really excited to grab from my LCS, Fight or Flight Comics in Raleigh, North Carolina. We are like just inches away from announcing the grand opening date of the brand new Fight or Flight Comics Raleigh location. So go ahead and follow their Instagram down below. That way you are the first to know when that grand opening is. I cannot wait to take you behind the scenes. But for now, you can visit the old location at 6320 Capitol Boulevard in the Plantation Square Shopping Center. You can go and somebody's going to be behind the counter. It's either going to be Dan, or it'll be Emily, or it'll be Maximilian. But either way, one of them will take really great care of you and let them know I sent you. That way we can all have a party when you arrive. But anyway, let's talk about the books that I am most excited for this week. This week, the book that's at the top of the reading pile is going to be The Ultimates, issue number 4. The Ultimates, written by Dennis Camp with art by Juan Frigeri. Yo, straight up. So this book is an example of why, like, I need to slow down, maybe take a few books off the pull list, because I feel like I'm reading books too fast and not fully getting to enjoy them. But I had a blast reading all 3 issues of The Ultimates by Dennis Camp. And straight up, it is the best book coming out of Marvel Comics right now. Like, of all the books I'm reading anyway. It's the best. And this is the book that you need to be following to sort of understand what's at stake in this new Ultimate universe and what all is going on. Like, if you read Ultimate Spider-Man, then you know Iron Lad is out there trying to set things straight and make sure all the heroes become heroes and stuff. So he's out recruiting new people. And so each issue we're getting a new take on, you know, a sort of classic Marvel character. With issue 3, let's just say we get more information about where the Hulk or Hulks are. And this book, issue 3, was such an emotional gut punch. Like, I was reading it the whole time like, oh man. And then at the end, it actually reminds you that it's a comic book and you're just like, this can't, where's the next issue? Lucky for me, only got to wait 2 more days. This Wednesday, Ultimates number 4 is out with a cover price of $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A. Next up, since we're talking about Marvel Comics, let's talk about a brand new number 1 from Dr. Eve L. Ewing and artist Carmen Carnero. Is Exceptional X-Men, issue number 1. This is the 3rd of the sort of tentpole franchises in the X-Men office right now. Is that right? Is that the right word? Tentpole? Makes sense. You need 3. The point is, you got X-Men by Jed MacKay. You got Uncanny X-Men by Gail Simone. And then you've got this, The Exceptional X-Men by Dr. Eve L. Ewing. From everything I'm reading about the synopsis or whatever, this says to me, this is going to be like the New Mutants of the group. And that's cool for me. Quite honestly, the premise nor the team are crazy interesting to me, but I just finished reading Dr. Eve's Black Panther run. I really enjoyed it. Carmen Carnero was a guest artist on The Amazing Spider-Man a few issues back, and I really loved her work there. And I've honestly been kind of testing out all of the new X-Men stuff just to see where, my interests are really going to lie. So I'm giving everything a shot through 1, 2, 3 issues. So I'm excited about this one just to see if this is going to be up my alley or not. But cover price on it is $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A. Now, this next book is one that I'm absolutely excited about. There is no debate, but Miles Morales Spider-Man issue 24 is out this week. And, I love this series. So earlier in this series, you might remember that my criticism of it has been they keep interrupting it for all these different things. We had the Carnage Reigns, and then we had a Blade crossover, and then we had a gang war, and now we have Blood Hunt. And there's been all these different things going on, and it feels like Cody Ziegler just has not been able to cook or just like let the story simmer the way he wants to. Or I say want. I don't know that, man. But it just seems like the intended story is being derailed, right? Well, post Blood Hunt, now all of a sudden, like some of those Blade appearances from earlier are making more sense. And this run now feels more focused than it ever has. And it feels really, really, like it's really good. It's just a really, really good book. So I'm enjoying it. What I'm really enjoying about this book, a couple of things. One is just how Miles is with his family. Two, how Miles is learning from like basically every Black superhero in the history of the Marvel Universe. Misty Knight, Luke Cage, Blade. They've been teasing that he's going to get a vibranium suit in a couple of issues. And so that means he's going to be learning from T'Challa. Like, this run is very much cementing the fact that Miles Morales is my Spider-Man, even though I grew up with Peter Parker. So I don't know. I'll probably have to distill those thoughts into another video. But for now, just know that Miles Morales Spider-Man is really good. And issue 24 is out this week with a cover price of $3.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And the last book on the pull list is quite honestly a chopping block contender. I've been trying to give it, I'm trying to play it, let this first story arc play out. But the Spectacular Spider-Men issue number 7 is out this week. You would have thought it would have wrapped up with issue 6, but we're still in this whole like arcade world, and Spider-Man they figured out that there's a dupe going on, but they haven't quite confronted the people that are responsible for it. This story feels like, I don't know, there's something about the pacing that's kind of off to me. You guys know that I've been trying to find a good Peter Parker book since I got into comics. It's been 5 years, and there's never been a mainline Amazing Spider-Man book that's really grabbed me. And I always felt guilty for not having Peter Parker on the pull list. For a while, this book felt like it was going to be it. But ever since the Ultimate Universe got started, honestly, that's scratching that itch. I don't need this much Peter Parker in my life. So I'm probably going to drop this book, especially since this is supposed to be the first in continuity ongoing team up between Miles and Peter. But so far, a lot of these changes that we've seen with Miles in the last couple of months haven't been reflected in this series. So I'm trying to keep, what's the word? Give it the benefit of the doubt or whatever. But it's not keeping my interest like perhaps it should. So Spectacular Spider-Man issue 7, I'm going to pick it up just to see how this story arc ends, but probably not afterwards. But cover price on that is $3.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And that's it. Those are the Marvel comics on the pull list this week. As long as I stick to the list, those are going to cost me $18 this week. So let's skip over to the indies, where before we get into the actual pull list, I do have to kind of just put out this plea, right? So my man Damian Becton is running a Kickstarter for a book called The Few of Far Between. It's a fantasy adventure book with some sci-fi in it as well. There's basically an AI robot from the future is out on the attack, right? And in order to stop it, this girl has to team up with the prototype version of that AI robot. So it kind of reminds me of like the Terminator, right? But then there's also the whole fantasy element just based on the lands where they are, like the types of places they're going to be exploring. Anyway, the book looks really good. it sounds really good as far as the premise is concerned, but the only way we're going to see this book to fruition is if you guys back that Kickstarter. So I'll play the trailer at the end of this video just to hopefully see if you're interested. But we got about 8-9 days left, and we got quite a bit of ways to go. So if you guys are remotely interested in that story, you got to back it selfishly so that I can read it, because I want it. Anyway, few and far between. Issue number 1 is on Kickstarter right now, so go back it. But now, let's talk about the indies on the pull list. We'll start with Cruel Universe, issue number 2. This is from Oni Press, masquerading as EC Comics. Is masquerading? That sounds disparaging. The point is they have the EC Comics sort of license, so they can do what they wish. And Cruel Universe is their sci-fi anthology. I guess you could say some of it's kind of like horror leaning, but more sci-fi. And I read issue 1, and it was a nice anthology. I think my favorite story was like, there's this guy who's telling us about how he got abducted by aliens basically and ended up in like this gladiator world. And then basically the story ends, and the person that you thought was narrating the story was not who was narrating the story. So anyway, I just like these really short, like sort of subversive stories that are in these anthologies. So I'm going to grab it just off the strength of the one that I really, really liked. I'm curious to see what they've got coming in issue 2. And if nothing else, that's a great cover by Greg Smallwood, isn't it? Cover price is $4.99, and that's cover A. Now, next up on the pull list is, I love this series. This is from Tony Fleece. Who's on art? Dave Wachter's on art. This is Uncanny Valley, issue number 5. This kid, Oliver, basically finds out he's part cartoon, and there's a gang of cartoons after him. Why are they after him? Well, there's some mysterious stuff going on. There's like a mystical, big powered entity. Like, there's a lot happening in this book, but what I love, but basically this kid's grandfather's like a classic Looney Tune, and I love the antics that we get from that. Like, you get to see him walking over a canyon just on air until he looks down, and when he falls, there's like cartoon cutouts and stuff. I don't remember reading issue number 5, and it could just be that there was a month that passed and it's been busy. It's been a very busy time in the Kicks household, but either way, I'm going to binge read 4 and 5 together this week when the book comes out. Cover price is $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And last book on the indie list for me this week is The Walking Dead Deluxe, issue number 96, More Zombies in Color from Robert Kirkman, with a cardstock cover by David Finch. Speaking of David Finch, I'm grabbing that cover A, and the cover price is $3.99. So that's it. Those are the last indie books on the pull list for me this week. So those are going to cost me $14, and we are in good shape as we head over to the distinguished competition with DC Comics. There are 3 books on my DC pull list this week, starting with Absolute Power, issue number 3. You know, if I'm completely honest, it's hard not to like sort of feel like you're in a lull until November with all these huge announcements DC's made lately. But Absolute Power is actually really good. It's really exciting. Amanda Waller she's got a thing against metahumans. She is rounding them all up, imprisoning them, using them against one another. And the superheroes are not safe. This is written by Mark Waid, drawn by Dan Mora, colors Alejandro Sanchez, and those colors are amazing. That's why I wanted to shout him out. But anyway, the story feels really, really high stakes. There was some John Kent stuff in the last issue that made me like, yo. So anyway, the point is really enjoying Absolute Power, even though I have to fight this thing in me that's like, it's not going to matter. Everything's resetting in November. So there's that. Cover price on it is $4.99. I really love that cover A. And I didn't even realize until somebody pointed out online that it is an homage to Hulk 340. Now I see it. but I didn't realize it before. Anyway, love that cover. And next up, speaking of that cover being Batman, Batman issue 152. This is written by Chip Zdarsky. I think Mike Hawthorne is on art this time around. And honestly, like, I don't know if they're just in a holding pattern until November or what, but this book has just not been crazy exciting as of late. We're doing Absolute Power tie-ins, and I guess I just don't need Absolute Power tie-ins, but Batman and Catwoman are trying to do a heist together. They've got confronted by a whole bunch of superpowered villains. So this is being billed as like Batman and Catwoman teaming up with the Suicide Squad somehow. I don't know. There was a really funny moment in the last issue where like Batman thinks Catwoman's like in danger and he like just calls out for her and she's like, yo, like, you're supposed to be a cat burglar. Like, why are you yelling? That was funny. Like, so this book has its moments, but I don't know, man. The combination of Jorge Jimenez not being on art and the story just not feeling like it's moving all that much. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to hold out until November when all this stuff is supposed to be kind of resetting, October, November, with the All In initiative. And we'll see if Batman gets new life. But issue 152 is out this week. Cover price is $4.99. And I'm probably getting the cover A, but I was just looking to see what variants are out this week. And there is a Batman 85th anniversary variant by Gabriel Dell'Otto that basically has Adam West Batman doing the Dark Knight Returns lightning bolt pose. And I just think that's a funny cover, but I'll have to see it in person to see if I actually want to grab it. But that's it, $4.99. And the next book, last book on the pull list this week is Plastic Man No More, issue number 1. This is a brand new Black Label series written by Chris Cantwell with art by Alex Lenz. Alex Lenz, who I remember most recently from doing Monarch with Rodney Barnes. I really enjoyed his art in that book. But this story is like Plastic Man. I don't know. The synopsis kind of reads like, or the solicit text kind of reads like the opposite of is it All-Star Superman, where Superman finds out he's going to die. So he's got to like go and like prove he's Superman for like, you know, however long he's got left. This is kind of the same thing. Plastic Man is going to perish. In the meantime, he wants to like right all his wrongs and, you know, be an upstanding citizen and hopefully prevent his son from making the same mistakes that he did. So it sounds interesting. It really does. I just want it because it's a Plastic Man book. I have not seen a Plastic Man book in the 5 years I've been in comics. So new characters, new series. I'll check it out. Cover price on it is $4.99. And I don't know, I'm probably not grabbing cover A. The cover that's calling out to me right now is by Chris Samnee. So that's probably the one I'm going to get. And that's it. Those are the DC comics on the pull list this week. As long as I stick to the list, those will cost me $15. And that means my grand total is actually a nice, modest, under budget $47 this week. Not a bad start to the month of September. By the way, happy Labor Day. You know, we're out here celebrating the labor force. Got a nice day off. And what did I do with my day off? Decided to work on a new video. But anyway, $47 this week. Now, that does mean I have room technically for a new number 1 maybe, but there's honestly not a ton that's calling out to me. But some books on the radar. You guys know I don't really do a bunch of horror. As we get closer to October, it seems like all the new number 1s are like horror leaning, but here are a few. What If Donald Duck Became Thor? Issue number 1. I didn't read this, or I'm not going to pick this one up because I still haven't read my Donald Duck Wolverine book from last month. Was it Wolverine that he became? Pretty sure it was Wolverine. But yeah, I haven't even read that one, so I'm not going to buy this one. Cover price on it is $4.99 though. Next up, Spiderman, Homeroom Heroes, issue number 1. It's a young readers friendly Spider-Man book. And honestly, that cover looks really cool. So I don't know. You guys know I love to shout out books for younger audiences because I got kids and it's really surprising how few comics are for kids, but that's a soapbox for another day. Spider-Man Homeroom Heroes, number 1. Cover price is $3.99. That's pretty cool. And last shout out for me this week is Star Trek issue 500 from IDW Entertainment. They're celebrating, obviously, 500 issues of Star Trek. I've never been a big Star Trek fan, so this probably isn't going to be for me, but I wanted to shout it out. It's an anthology type book, so quite a few different stories in there, including one story written by Stephanie Williams, another story written by Morgan Hampton, both good friends of the channel. So I had to shout out their book. And yeah, I'm probably going to buy it, even though I know nothing about Star Trek, because I got to support the homies. Cover price on that one is $6.99. And that's the end of the new number ones that are on my radar. What are you looking forward to this week, though? Like, how are you feeling about DC Comics? I feel like the all-in announcement just kind of took away all the enthusiasm I had for all the books that were coming out, even though for the most part, they're all good. Yeah, let me know how you feel about that. What are you excited about? Is Miles Morales like growing on you as much as he's growing on me? Anyway, these are discussion questions we can talk about in the Discord or in the Facebook group. Let me know. Links are all down below. I'll see you guys in another video real soon. Till then, stay safe, stay awesome, and read something dope today. Peace.